All right. Hey, Gundam Maniacs. Welcome to the Gundam Explained Show Live. It's episode 121. Not only is that a major highway where I live and that I used all the time growing up, so that stuck with me, but it's also part of the number in the name of the Hazel. The RX 121.
Hey, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Means nothing, but thought I'd, or
I
maybe
mean, it
it
means
does mean
something to
something.
you, right? Like Hazels are badass. I do believe I was watching Shirt Lad's stream the other day, and
Mhm.
he indeed said, "I'm gonna quote Adam Blue, Hazels are badass." It's just
Yeah, that's how I describe them. But no,
Mhm.
no, this is great. Yeah, I'm your host, Adam Blue, and joining me, that seems like always, which is awesome, is Steven from Midnight Hatter. What's up, Steven?
Hey, thank you for having me. As always,
Yeah.
this is a lot of fun. I am enjoying how your new studio is coming together.
Oh,
I see we
great.
now have some Gunpla on display. That's awesome. I'm getting some ideas from you because I'm looking at my setup and I'm like, man, I've got some moody light going on, and I would prefer something a little bit more professional and crisp, like what you've got.
Yeah, well, thank you. This has been an amazing time because like I did not plan for this, and I am obsessed with the way my office is positioned because I do a lot here. I do my day job and then I do content creation. So it's like I need it to be as comfortable as possible. And for those that watch my videos normally, I would have that background with the tiles and that's over here on this side. And what I decided to do was because we got the new flooring down, we got ceramic tiles down, I wanted it to be open and airy. So I have my desk like up against the windows right here to keep the back open. And then I put curtains up back here, which goes to the living room. And maybe people that have watched, the supporters that have watched my behind the scenes videos sometimes see where I'm like showing, the other parts, other angles. But I'm not done yet. And a lot that I learned from doing this was how can I make myself as comfortable as possible? I think that's number one, like
Yeah,
doing everything.
absolutely.
And then one of the weird things I ended up doing is making it where my camera here is actually, I have a monitor that I have in front of it. And then when I do the videos, I move the monitor and just slide my mouse and keyboard down um, to do the thing where I'm still talking to the camera, you know? I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things, it's endless. Like, I'll never get what I want, and I'll just constantly be changing things up. Yeah.
I mean, it's always a growth process, and I've said myself that I'm a forever student as well, and you just kind of adapt with things, and every day we learn something new that we're like, hey, that's something I didn't know yesterday that hopefully
Yeah.
is going to benefit me today. And I feel like this is going to be one of those streams where you and I learn a lot because I think that some of the topics we're going to talk about today, you and I are kind of complete novices on. Am I right in saying that?
Dude, excellent segue, right? Because I always like to tease with the topics. You got right into it. Yeah, exactly. So a variant of the Jeddah got released in GBO2. So I just want to talk about the Jeddah mobile suit in general. I don't a lot, and there's a variant in GBO2 that Tyler's taught me how to use, and I love it. And I made that video that one time. What's the difference between a Jesta and a Jagan? I should have added Jeddah and be like, what's with all these J's? Like, so by the
Right.
end of
When are
this,
we going to get a Gundam Jedi is what I'm asking.
yeah, there you go. Okay, now you're getting the wheels turning, but no, but so by the end of it, I want to see if there happens to be some explanation with the J. I don't know. It could just be coincidence. But also then something that has to do with, it's called, is it F1? Formula One? Yeah, Formula One. Some
Yeah.
Gundam collab. We'll jump into that. Something. Look, when I saw that, I was like, okay, neat. And Bandai said, hey, can you retweet this? I was like, yeah, sure. And then, our social media specialist, Ashley, was like, oh, I love that driver. I love F1. I'm like, what? And I never heard of it. So it's cool that, yeah, that's another thing that she's into and knows. And I was like, oh, okay, that's
I,
actually
I
pretty neat.
love that because first Ashley schooled us on K-pop and like the
Oh, yeah.
difference between K-pop, K-rock, and J-pop, J-rock, and all that stuff. And like now she's going to be able to educate us on Formula One, which like I mean the most I know about cars is from like Need for Speed Underground. That's about it.
Oh, that's funny because it's like the same thing with me. I think for me, it was when I would play, if not Need for Speed, like Midnight Club or
Oh,
something. I don't know.
Midnight Club Dub Edition. I
Yeah.
sank so many hours into that game. See, look, you and I, we can take any topic and turn it into a gaming topic, like
I know. I know that's I think that's a good thing though. A lot of people like games nowadays.
yeah.
Especially enough where these giant billion-dollar companies merge to maximize gaming. So yeah,
Yeah,
that happens.
for sure.
And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the new Gunpla releases coming out as well. But to start off, I always like to talk about what we got into Gunpla or Gundam wise in general this week. And I don't know if you have anything you want to add, but I will say that yesterday's stream on Hatter's channel was pretty awesome. There was like, you know, Steve, you got so many projects, but you happened to show off quite a few yesterday, which was pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah, I keep myself pretty busy, and so, I think that I had kind of gone under the radar for like a week or two. No one had been able to kind of reach me outside of just streams and a couple of videos. And so a lot of that was down to snap building the hobby Hyzac that Shirt Lad sent me,
Yeah.
which, thank you, Shirt Lad, for that. Finishing up the finishing touches on the Neo Xeon bound dock that
Yeah.
Xeonic Shadow and Zeeg New York sent me. So thank you guys for that. And then, of course, I did do a little teaser on the Genobreaker repackaged version, a Kotobukiya kit, not Gundam and
Yeah.
not Bandai, but
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 plastic.
yes, sent by mutual friend and supporter Goose. So
Yeah.
again, thank you. You guys send me way too much stuff to work on, and so I'm like constantly juggling over here. I've got chainsaws flying through the air. Maybe I should light them on fire before I do that.
That's crazy.
But no, I do love the idea of having all of these projects going, and I think you're the same way. Where
Yeah.
you know it feels good to be able to set one thing down and make a little progress here and there. So I did want to kind of show off all that stuff on stream yesterday, just to show that I'm not sitting on my butt doing nothing here.
Yeah, no, it's cool. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out because you'll learn stuff. It will get you interested in something, might motivate you, inspire you. I'm still working on Zionic Shadows Red Rider that he sent me. Um, I,
I
I
can't wait to
have
see how that
just
turns out.
yeah, due to the work and the flood and the room stuff, I've been delayed because that was the last Gunpla I started and I haven't finished it yet. So I've been Gunpla-less for a while. Although I say that as I am organizing everything back in my office, I'm like, okay, I have too much Gunpla. I
Hey, and shout out in the chat to Johnny Tacoma, because he shared a video over on my Discord for, yesterday we were talking about the lack of support and tutorials out there for people that want to photograph their Gunpla.
oh yeah,
And there he shared a video, a YouTube video that does cover some of those topics, things like lighting and
oh
angles and posing. And I think that that's a huge benefit. I still think that people would love to hear how your process, Adam, and I
yeah,
might even share some of the things that I've been working on, because a lot of people, I think when it comes to Gunpla photography, personally, I love a good like diorama background set. Even if
yeah.
it's the same with all of your photography, I think it's kind of cool to have like either like a cityscape or like a hangar or something that kind of immerses you in the world a little bit. What do you think about that?
No, I agree 100%. Like, and that's my struggle has been. And if you, and I have that, it's Gundadum is the Instagram name, Gundam, Dad, and Adam, Gundadum, where I took all these shots, and it might be on the Gundam Explained Instagram, but where I've done multiple things to achieve that. Like, I've built physical dioramas. I think it's the hardest because you're one, it's physical things you're taking time to put together, but then getting the scale right, and then getting the lighting right and the backdrop. I've also, and I think this is the easiest, but it's also a lot of fun, is using like a TV or monitor as the background. It's just
Yeah,
there's a little more lighting you have to work on because lighting comes from that monitor as a source. So you sometimes have to work with the lighting. Um,
definitely. Wait, did your audio cut out for me, but I don't know if it cut out to the stream.
oh, well, let's
Well,
check.
I
Hold
hear
on,
you
let me
back
go
now.
to. Okay, good. Good.
Okay,
Okay.
good,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyone chat here, any problems, let us know. But
definitely.
no, it's and then you can throw it in Photoshop because like you can sometimes clean up like even if it's on the Gunpla itself, if there's something toyic about it, toyetic, and you want to like kind of airbrush it out or add lens flare or and you know what? I keep forgetting this. And if someone's interested in this and they can't find it, let me know. But for supporters, I uploaded on into G Drive, and there should be a link for it. It's a PSD I made. That's a star field background that I made myself, and I made all the lasers and the lens flares, both yellow and pink, like explosions too, to reflect like battles in the background.
That was
So if
very
anyone's looking
cool.
for that and they can't find it, let me know because I thought that was just a cool thing to use because then you can manipulate it however you want, move it.
Yeah, yeah, and,
Oh
like, I
yeah,
mean,
okay. So
isn't
Robert
that
thing definitely,
oh,
yeah. I think there's some
delayed now?
weird thing going on.
That's
Hmm.
weird.
Yeah. Well,
But,
we'll just keep going. We'll see what
yeah,
happens.
we'll power through it. We'll suffer through it. But, yeah, no, I mean, I would say
Yeah.
that you are incorporating basically Disney Lucasfilm technology into your Gunpla photography, right? You're doing volume set photography. That's like the same thing that they use on The Mandalorian. So that's pretty cool. And
And the guy that made Photoshop was part of ILM.
look at that.
Did you know
That's
about that? The guy,
full
yeah,
circle.
I know. I
Does
know.
does anyone remember Industrial Light and Magic? Because I feel like a lot of people like Industrial Light and Magic once they got kind of folded into the cinema, basically like everyone uses the same technology as Industrial Light and Magic did, but they don't use the name anymore. Like, does anyone know who they are anymore? I feel like you and I are just grognards.
Yeah, that's a good point because I feel like you don't hear about that because I think a lot of times now VFX is like outsourced to just small companies that can like specialize and all. They know how to do fluid, they know how to do reflections, et cetera, et cetera. And I've even heard that there could be an upcoming VFX strike for people in the VFX industry that want to start getting paid like the actor strike that happened, the writer
As
strike,
well
and
there should
everything.
be.
So.
I feel like, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
I'm a little bit biased, but between the, congratulations to SAG-AFTRA for resolving their strike and the Writers Guild for resolving theirs. But I feel like the VFX guys, they kind of get the short end of the stick, right?
And I hear that a lot too. Like a lot of times there's a lot of crunch to get stuff done as quickly as possible. And then I wonder if sometimes when you're watching a movie and you're like, why is the special effects bad? I wonder, and I think I've heard this actually. Yes. I forget what director was saying this, but like they'll get the VFX shots back, they'll go through them and be like, this doesn't look good, but we really don't have the time or money to improve. So we're just gonna have to go with this. And that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. They don't know the behind the scenes. So for them, when they're watching the movie, it's gonna take them out of the experience.
Hmm.
You know? Yeah. A little different there. Okay, I'm trying to think, okay, yeah, we talked that. Was there any I hadn't gotten into anything Gundam much the past couple weeks just because of
Yeah.
work and
And you
the
can be forgiven for that.
redo in
I
the
mean, you
office. I can't wait. No,
it's
it's
kind of
been
hard to
busy. I
build
can't wait
Gunpla
to
without a table and, it's
Yeah, no, exactly. And I like to be able to sit down and take my time to like think about a research document because a lot of times with Talos, it's like, okay, what do I want to research for a lore video? And then I get with him and try to get his thoughts. I haven't been able to get to that lately.
mhm.
The Jeddah cannon. It's a 550 support ground in space. There are at least one Jeddah. There could be more than one in GBO2 already.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, a Canon variant. That's just a thing that I think most suits have a Canon variant.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a
Or
cannon, is it really a mobile suit?
I wonder though. That's a good point. What's a mobile suit that we could add Canon to it? Like Hazel cannon. There we go.
Well, can you imagine,
Um,
like, the
wonder
Zeusa cannon? Like, with all the missile launchers that the Zeusa has, and then add
oh,
a couple of shoulder cannons on it.
that's actually a really good idea. That's where you go. That's the direction you go, where you just make it crazy. I love it. But I don't know if most of you remember, I mean, if you haven't, you can go back and look where I made a video. What's the difference between a Justa and a Jagan? Because I there was a time where I would be like, wait, is that the Jester or the Jagan? Because it's like they're both J named mobile suits that have similar syllables, and so I would just forget. And then
But,
it's
like, the
like the
Jesta
Jeddah
does look
popped up.
like
And
the
I'm like, oh
SWAT team
yeah,
of mobile suits, right? Like,
yeah,
the Jesta, because it's all black and it's got, like,
yeah.
the visor, like, they look like special forces, you know?
Yeah, and then, the Jagan is more of like, what's the next generation GM? And so,
Mhm.
that's kind of where they went with that. But the Jeddah. So, trying to figure out, okay, where does this fit in? The interesting thing was it's developed straight up from the Mark II, one of the coolest, one of my favorite mobile suits. I think that's actually pretty cool. But here's another thing. Look, it was developed into the Jagan. So that's actually interesting. So they make a Mark II, and then
Mhm.
I guess by UC 89. Wait a minute. So if this was developed into the Jagan, how come this was first seen in 90, but a Jagan was first seen in 89? So discrepancy.
Yeah, there's definitely some missing data there. And one of those things that's interesting about sorry,
The
I
audio is
didn't mean to.
dropping in and out. No, I think Steven, we're out of sync somehow, and so we're like, and I'm even looking at myself, and I'm delayed. I wonder if I can fix it live. Give me a second, and I'm gonna try to. Um,
Yeah, let me know if you want me to kind of refresh my view as well.
yeah, I don't know. See, it's one of those things where then I don't know where the problem lies. Um,
Right.
if it's OBS or if it's that Video Ninja,
Since
but
the delay is
um,
on my end as well, I think it's in Video Ninja. So what I would probably do is, if you can, throw up
ah,
like a intermission on OBS, and then we reload Video Ninja real quick.
let's do. Let me real quick this. Well, maybe that worked.
Let's see what we can do.
Okay. Well, yeah.
On the fly engineering.
Anyway, so I want to get back to that real quick because unless I'm missing something, it's saying that the Jeddah was first seen in 90, but it was developed into the Jagan, yet the Jagan page says it was first seen in 89. So maybe just one of those things where it's just a year apart. So I bet there's something that, you know,
Yeah, and it's entirely possible that, you know, the first appearance of the mobile suit does not necessarily coincide with the development of it, right? Like, technically, technically the AK-47 didn't actually see any field use until 1949, right? And then there's like the
Excellent.
discrepancy between like the Gundam and the ground Gundam because the ground Gundam was first seen in like July, whereas the RX-78-2 Granddaddy Gundam wasn't seen until like August or September, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly right. That was the same thing with one of the Pale Riders, I think, or and the Atlas as well. So you're making a good point here. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is. When we see first seen, that doesn't mean like when it was actually developed or developing. So
Now there is a bit
okay,
of that, like, Advance of Zeta style, like, the Jeddah seems to be a little bit more over-rendered, a little bit more advanced looking than the
yeah.
Jagan. Almost like they kind of went all out with the Jeddah and then scaled it back to create the Jagan. Would you say that that's
That's something I've learned from Talos. A lot of times they'll make these certain units that are like crazy, but then when they go to mass produce a variant of it or try to mass produce, they just come up with something else that's scaled down, like from the Hazel line to the Mark II. The Mark II was much more scaled down. It was cheaper to make, even though they only what was it? There were only four of them. The Mark
Yeah,
II. Yeah.
yeah,
So
4 Mark IIs. How many
yeah,
Hazels were there total? Or was it
that's a
just
good
the
question.
2
I want to
Hazels with,
say
like, lots of packs?
no, I wanna say there wasn't a lot. That might have only been 4 or so, but, like, they would then grab them and then add the parts, so it's like this new variant, and then grab that and add the parts. I made a video on that, and I still don't even get it. So, let me just put it that way. So, okay. Just to kinda look at this real quick. So, it has a head Vulcan, waist hand grenade, beam saber, twin arm grenade. That's cool. That's kinda like what the Zeta had, if that's, like, the same thing, where on the arms it had, like, the grenade,
Yeah,
beam rifle, shield, bullpup machine gun. I mean, just,
classic.
yeah, it just all the cool stuff. I mean, to me, this is just as cool as like, the GM, where it's kind of like just a standard badass looking military robot that I
Now
I
you
need to get
mentioned Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
Well,
I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna say
say
you
I need
meant
to get a model kit. There we go again with all this.
Yes.
I need to get a model kit of this though, because I have the Moon Gundam model kit, and that thing is excellent. It's a high grade.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that's one of the P-Bandis that I was sad I missed out on was the Varguil because I do love the Moon Gundam design, but I just don't like the Moon Gundam head. I prefer that Zazabi style head. But, you brought up earlier in the stream, like, the Js, right? Jagan, Jada, Jesta.
Yeah,
What if that is
Jerry.
just a correction of the gym? The GM, the gym, you know? Like, because
Oh,
people generally refer to the GM as Jim, except, I guess,
yeah.
like, over in the West. I'm not sure exactly what the etymology is behind GM versus Jim, but I do know that, I mean, in the earliest episodes of Zeta Gundam, we have that one Federation pilot that's getting smoked by, Quattro Bagina, and he's like, "I just can't keep up with them in this antique gym."
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because that's actually what I was hoping we would kind of get to with this.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, why are these all J names? And they're kind of built as more of these sort of like I see these suits, the Jeddah, the Jesta, the Jagan as like advanced GMs pretty much. It kind of has the single visor look with the
Mhm.
kind of standard armaments, that whole thing.
So I think what you're
Yeah, it's really
basically
cool.
you're arriving at the conclusion, and I'm glad that we're coming around to this because, man, I've been trying to sell this idea for all of 4 minutes because that's when I came up with it. Are you trying to tell me that we have been mispronouncing Gundam for 40 years and it's really Jundam and Junchannon and
Wow.
Juntank?
It's Gundam.
The Jundam is really what it's like GIF versus GIF.
The old dub would say that. Hey, you know what? I got to shout out. Robert got me the Moon Gundam, and he was saying, "You're
Oh,
welcome for that." Yeah,
nice.
thank you, Robert. Yeah, that was pretty nice of him. Yeah, Gundam won't fly. but
No,
that's the
stop
new
trying to make
Naan-stop.
Gundam happen. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, we gotta remember this. I feel like that's hilarious stuff. Okay. Um, anyway, anything else that it's cool that Amuro Ray was a known pilot, and it's funny, he's the only listed known pilot. That's kinda badass, that
Yeah,
Amuro Ray piloted that.
for a grunt suit, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, um ooh, I like this. This has some advanced of Zeta stuff going on, like the shielding on the that's,
yeah, that's pretty tough looking.
that's pretty cool. Underrated suit, I guess, in my eyes, because I don't really talk about it much. Um, okay. Well, okay, we're gonna move on here real quick. Latest November 2023 Gunpla lineup. So not that I need to buy anymore, but you never know. If there's that one, I'll get it. So we got the Shin Burning Gundam, which, yeah, this is what we saw from the Build Metaverse. I
Yep.
admit it looks cool. The other cool thing about it is it has effect parts, and we
This
normally
should be
don't get that with
standard.
Gunpla.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's I don't know. I love that the
That's
robot
cool.
spirits come with so many effect parts. I wish that more Gunpla came with effect parts, but it's just cool that we're getting
Yeah,
some.
because I could see with Gunpla too how custom it is when you're building it. Like, what are you wanting it to do or be or whatever? Because with all that posability, what are you posing it for? Yeah, maybe to have a cool pose would be next to something, but
Why
with
are we
effect
here?
parts, it's like, yeah, yeah. Okay. Along with that is this okay, cross silhouette F Kunoichi Kai. I guess that was another one that was in there, right?
Yes, yes. And I
Um,
love the cross silhouette line. I have both the Zeta Gundam and the Zaku 2. Just a great proportioned kit because it's not quite SD, you know, it's got
True.
a little bit more posability to it. It's not just like a little stumpy big head thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're not dropping that line. I wish that we'd get some more releases because honestly, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you think that the cross silhouette line kind of matches the proportions of SD Gundam Battle Alliance?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, like I think like the mobile suit ensemble, I also put in that sort of where it's like they're not
Good call out.
and it's enough to where then there's full articulation on the arms, the legs. It's just the proportions are different, but it's not so different that it stops it from being functional in the same way. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is awesome. The GM, the new GM, even though it's an origin version. So, like for instance, it has a snout that normally would be flat. The shoulders would
True.
be red. Other than that, so I wonder, do you think they'll just never release the older style GM anymore? Like they won't ever redo it. They'll just release these origin versions and be like, "This is the new GM. Deal with it."
You know, uh, I don't know what's your thought on that because there's certain things that I love about that, and then there's certain things that I'm like, well, anime accuracy and all that kind of stuff. But it does seem to me like the design of the GM is a little outdated, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's because it's like one of the few mobile suits that I think are pivotal, but they rarely touched it with as a model kit to sort of
True.
because I think there's other ways I've seen it. Like I want to say in maybe War in the Pocket, or there's other like in the video games where they've updated them enough to where it's not drastic from the original GM design. But yeah, if they made GM model kits based on like the PS3 Gundam games, that would be
Exactly.
perfect.
Like
So
I think that the GMs in Crossfire and Senki 0081 actually do have that for lack of a better word, crotch, like the pelvis armor. Whereas, the typical, like the
oh
traditional
yeah,
0079 GM only has two front skirt plates, but it doesn't have
just
that
flat.
split in the middle. And I think I mean, it's such a
Totally forgot
weird
about
little
that.
detail to obsess about, but it really does make a difference. Like, it makes it look more complete.
I agree. 100% because and maybe this was the intention because really the whole body then is pretty much just the Gundam RX-78 too, just with a different head, right?
Yeah. And the shield,
If you look
I
at it all,
do I
that's really the
appreciate
only
the fact
difference.
that the shield doesn't have the traditional golden cross
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like, the Gundam shield has. I think that it kind of because
Yeah.
it's a little stripped down, it looks a little bit more mass produced as opposed to the Gundam shield, which looks
Yes,
very
that is a grunt suit. All the stuff. And Johnny Tacoma was saying they'll probably reprint it, but you never know. And they actually did, but it was in like that 3-pack. That was a GM, a GM2, and a GM3, I think, but it was like the original ones. So it wasn't
right.
anything new, just reprint. Um, and then this SDW Heroes, nothing I'm too into. Um, I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
these
I'm
are
sure people like this stuff. Last Christmas, oh, sorry, what was up?
no, no, I mean, these are cool
Oh,
kits,
can you hear me?
like, I mean, they like you said, it's cool that they exist. I mean, I love, like, the kind of Dynasty Warriors ones, like, you have, like, the Yubei Gundam, the Cow Gundam, the, Sunsei Gundam, what have you. But yeah, I mean, they're not for everybody, right?
And I think last Christmas I got one from the family, and I was just like, "Thank you," and I built it. Not that you know, I appreciate it, and I still have it. I'm not gonna throw that thing out.
Hmm. Now, I
Okay,
did something
so
that I don't normally do, is I actually sent my wife a screenshot of a few high grade kits that I was like, "Look, I know you're gonna do the thing where you buy me something for Christmas even though I don't want something for Christmas. Please just get from this list."
yeah, that's funny that you say that because I do think that can happen sometimes where it's like they want to get you a thing that's part of this thing, and it's like, well, if you're doing it,
Yeah. And it all goes back to, like, the
oh,
policy of honesty, right? Honesty is better than
yeah,
dishonesty.
yeah, that is right. Um, okay, so moving on. Okay, so here's something that I found interesting. Curious what you guys think in the chat because I didn't really know too much about this. And like I said, Ashley was excited about this. So announcing partnership with Scuderia AlphaTauri, cool name, sounds like a Gundam name, for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So we're bringing Gundam to the Formula One circuit by partnering with the thing for the Las Vegas Grand Prix that takes place November 16th to 18th. So I guess there's a race in Las Vegas coming up next week. Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Um, Yuki Tsunoda is the ace pilot. I like how they says the ace pilot.
That's
Um,
pretty cool.
and I guess the cars are featuring decals from the RX-78 and the Ariel. So it's interesting how they're using Ariel because that's new and popular, but then sneaking in the old granddaddy to be like, but this is the original. No.
Yep.
Um, oh, don't tell me the audio went out again.
I mean, I couldn't
It must
hear you
have.
there for a second, but
Anyway, oh, yeah, there's something definitely going on. It's the new room. It's the new room. Um, but no, apparently there's a perfect grade of this coming out, which to be honest, the colors look great on it. But
yeah. Kinda
I
reminds me of the Thunderbolt, Gundam, the Thunderbolt Full Armor Gundam a little bit, like, in terms of, like, the dark navy
oh,
blues and the dark reds.
the dark colors.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, it actually is in line with that. Good call on that. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the real type markings.
Yeah, I know you're a sucker for those real types.
The guy that's gonna be driving the car has the Amaro flight suit, which is pretty sick. Like,
That is so awesome.
that's actually I mean, it's pretty neat because I'm wondering when it comes to here's the thing, it's weird like, I don't know anything about Grand Prix F1 stuff. I don't know anything at all, and it's just interesting. Like, I wonder how popular it is to where this would get new people into Gundam. Like, is someone gonna see that pilot suit or, like, the robot and be like, "Whoa, what's that robot from?" I
I mean,
yeah,
you
I don't
just
know.
never know until you know, right? Like, it's you just kind of have to take a chance sometimes, and I think that this is like I think that this is a little bit more of a sure thing than some other partnerships that could blossom between Bandai and Sunrise and some other, kind of non-anime, non-Gundam related franchises. But I mean, I think it's pretty awesome.
I wonder if there's the crossover where people that are into F1, maybe there's model kits of those cars that they build, and then
Oh,
maybe
100%.
they're trying to okay. Okay, so maybe they're, yeah, trying to get at people that way. Because for me, I feel like there's these obvious things Bandai should do, like, even though I don't care about Fortnite, I would feel like they would have some appearance in Fortnite because that's like the billboard of gaming. Anyway, even if you're not a gamer, you might play Fortnite and know Fortnite, you know?
Yeah, and
What
like
are
you've said
some
in the
other
past, is some of these, like, gaming platforms and some of these sort of media outlets basically cease to be their own thing and basically, like you said, become billboards for other things. Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, I think, is starting to get that way, now that you've got, like,
Oh,
Omni-Man
yeah.
in Mortal Kombat, like, these types of
They've had Alien
partnerships.
Predator, they've had the Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Yeah, RoboCop, Terminator. I
Oh, yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
what you're seeing is you're seeing that, and I'm not gonna say whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing, but there's this commodification of, and maybe it's just a certain medium, right? Like whether it's fighting games, whether it's shooters, whether it's Formula One racing, where it becomes this platform where people can reach audiences that maybe they're not used to approaching. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
and you
What are
know
your
what?
thoughts
Just
on
looking
that?
in the chat, like, people are excited about this collab, which is neat. I guess that is really cool because that's not how they're going to get me. They got me into
Yeah,
because I my mouse even skipped while I was talking. So let's
that's a
see how
new
much
one.
longer we can go with this. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, this was the website showing. Yeah, there we go. I wanted to see if they had a bigger shot of that kit, but no. All right. Well,
See, and like even
oh,
if
I
you were to
like
take
this
something
art
like,
of the RX-78 too right here.
yeah, yeah, some of the new like
What's up?
what is that called? Is it called like key art? The vector graphics that they kind of use for these types of marketing campaigns. Some of this art is fantastic.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, I
really
mean,
like this, like the shading and everything.
yeah, it's very slick looking. And what's interesting is when you
Yeah.
see it alongside the aerial, the the art style is similar. So like they look like they belong together, but then there's that I don't know, there's that unique touch that's like there's something different about these two Gundams. Like,
Yeah, that's actually pretty good contrast if you're going to show off different Gundams. I think the aerial is just different enough from the RX-78 too that it's two different things you can show people, and then one's piloted by a girl, the other a guy, so it's kind of like all inclusive um, for everyone. So yeah, yeah, pretty cool. Um, and then the other thing is so Erder Hunt, if I'm even saying that. I guess what was that like a mobile game in Japan, and
Yeah.
then I guess it shut down, and then they're gonna make it into an anime. And I don't know if that means it's a movie or series,
It's supposed to
but
be like an
I
OVA,
don't know
right?
anything about this at all.
So I've heard that
Oh,
it's gonna be an
okay.
OVA. It's gonna
OVA.
be a couple of longer it's a short series, but a couple of longer episodes. Um, but I'm like you. I didn't play the Japanese mobile game. Does it have its own animation similar to like UC Engage, where are they just gonna compile the animation from the game and then call it a movie?
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder because that's the thing. I need to actually watch through IBO. I've only watched the first few episodes. I find it interesting. I just other things happened, and I need to get back to that.
No, no,
So
you don't.
yeah, I need to get back to
UC
that
is where
soon
it's
so
at.
then I can watch the sequel. Well, and then also, that's what's good about the Seed Freedom movie coming out because luckily I watched the other series, so I'm glad I got that done.
There you go.
Yeah. Um, well, you know what? I think here's what we'll do. I'm going to end it early just because I'm having the technical difficulties. We talked about what we wanted to really for today. But yeah, I don't know what's going on my computer. I'm not even using that old program Wirecast that used to have those issues, and I would talk about it like it was another person on the podcast. And
Seriously, the
yeah,
well, the
um,
unseen third co-host.
yeah, I know. And then it's like, let's go back to free stuff. But again, with this Video Ninja, who knows if it's really that or it's my computer. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But anyway, everyone, thanks for those that joined. Sorry we cut it short, just technical difficulties. Not too short though. But be sure if you haven't, check out the video that went up Wednesday because it's a 5K giveaway.
Yeah, who doesn't want a
Giveaway
free
the
Gundam
Master Grade
model kit,
Extreme Strike
especially
Freedom.
the Master Grade Extreme?
I know. I mean, I want it. It's funny because when it first came out, I kept waiting for like the pre-orders would be sold out, and then they'd be like, okay, we'll have some more coming up, and I was like, should I get it? Just because it's not UC, but it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we're gonna take off. Steven, any last words?
No, I think we covered just about everything we wanted to cover. I'll always be here to bring up more Twitter drama next week. Because that's what I'm good for. No, I'm
Yeah,
just teasing y'all.
yeah. No, hey, you never know. It can be fun. But no, yeah, that's it. Thanks for everyone that joined.